Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, it's an absolute honor to welcome Mara, the founder of the Intuition Queen, a coach, healer, and intuitive guide whose mission is to help purpose-driven leaders and creatives shatter generational trauma and unlock their infinite potential. Mara has spent years diving deep into emotional and energy healing, blending color therapy, human design, gene keys, and intuitive guidance to help visionaries break through and free of the invisible glass ceiling holding them back. Through her transformative work, she empowers leaders to transform fear into confidence, align with their bigger vision, and reach the next level of sustainable success. I am super excited to welcome her and uncover all the ancestral healing, inner child work, intuitive clarity, and so much more that she has to offer. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Shel Marie. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
You are so welcome. I don't even know where to begin. I just feel like a child in a sweet shop with your bio. I'm just like color therapy and human design and gene keys. Like I feel like particularly human design, I've had a little like dabble into, if you like. But the color therapy and the gene keys, I don't really know as much about. So I actually, with you being the intuitive queen, I would actually love you to just, based on what I've just expressed, what would you like to share?
Well, I can tell you that my soul speaks in colors. So I can tell you that colors have always been a way for me to express myself. And I had no idea this was going to be an instrument for me to use in what I do.
Wow.
Always been a child that loved colors, particularly pink and purples and all the brights. They just made me happy. And in 2016, the year after my dad passed away, I had an aura reading. And it was really, really helpful. I was already kind of thinking of doing my coaching course. My friend was doing Reiki. So I was a little bit into the spiritual world, but not very much into it. But this aura reading thing was like, oh yeah, oh my God, yes. And I remember her saying, oh, your aura is green. This is going to happen. You are like this. And she was literally talking about me and my life and what the decision that I was about to make were going to mean for me. And when I finished, I'm like, what is this thing that you can tell me my aura is green? Like, what does it mean? So I'm on the train going back to my friend, and I am checking what it means to have a green aura, because she didn't explain that. She said a few things, but then I'm like, what does it mean? And then I come up a website that says color therapy. I'm like, color therapy? What is this? And that was the moment that I'm like, oh. So I started diving deeper, and I was like, I need to know more. And I realized when I started studying, I was like, okay, obviously some of things are related to chakras. I knew something about it. But then I came across this technique where you basically use your date of birth to tell your clients what are the colors of their energy, their itinerary. Basically, it's kind of like I tell you how you need to use your personal energy to help yourself to get to your life mission and live a better life and heal yourself. And I began like, okay, so I started doing readings, or they weren't really readings, to my friends, where I was explaining their colors. It functions a little bit like an astrology chart, and so I can tell you, okay, so those are your colors, and what I realized was what was happening is that as I was explaining to them their colors, what they meant, and how they could use them, this was a year after I had become
Yeah.
a coach by then. So I took my time to do those things because I was like, I don't know how my friends are gonna. I mean, I am very much into those things, but I don't know how my friends are gonna take this. So I was like, let me just,
Yeah.
I just want to read your colors. And because it was a fun thing and a fascinating thing, my friend was like, yeah, sure. And they also knew my path. So what ended up happening is that I started channeling informations. And so as I was saying, oh, you have green and la la la, and this is what it means, la la la, I started getting messages
Wow.
about whatever the situation that there was holding them back. Maybe they were like, oh, I was like, oh, so is there something that, oh yeah, the situation with this person or work, or, and then I would get messages and I would just be like, okay, so I think I need to say this to you, but I'm feeling this and that. And it would bring me to a specific point in time in their life, a specific emotion, anything that was holding them back related to that specific topic they wanted to talk about. I was like, oh my God, this is something. So I would share stuff that they had not shared with me
Wow.
and be like, oh, I see this or I feel this. And there is this emotion that I feel. And they're like, yeah. And because I started to see this reaction from a lot of people, that I'm like, oh. And then I started to talk to some others and they're like, Mara, you're a channeler, you just don't realize it. But to me at that point I was like, am I what? No, that's such a big responsibility. So that's how my journey started with it. And I started doing color therapy readings, and it just blew my mind what I could feel and how I can help my clients. And I've always been fascinated about learning more, I've always
Yeah.
been fascinated by astrology and understanding a little bit more about yourself and how you manage stuff and why you feel that way. And then someone was like, why don't you do a human design reading? I'm like, what? So I was working with my coach at that point. This was 2020. I became a coach in 2017. So that's a long time ago. 2020, fast forward, I'm working with my coach, and in her program, she had a human design reading. So I have a reading with this guy, and I'm like blown away. The guy is basically telling me how I function, and he's also telling me, stop doing this. You're going against yourself. This is how you need to use your energy. This is what works better for you. This is detrimental for you. And I'm like, I wish I'd known about this before.
Yeah.
And so that got me interested, but I was not yet ready to start studying human design because to me it felt too much work. And then I had a Akashic record reading, and the girl was like, you need to learn human design because it goes very well with color therapy. I cannot explain to you the details of why I'm seeing this and why it's in your records, but you need to do it because they can connect.
Wow.
And I'm like, interesting. I love human design, but I never really thought about it. Then my friend comes to me and she goes, oh, I'm learning human design. Can I do a reading to you? And I'm like, sure. She does a reading to me. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't like the fact that you're doing it for free. She was my coaching buddy when I was coaching, when I was taking my course. We became extremely good friends. We always help each other. But I was like, this is a free session. Okay, can I give you a color therapy session for free? Because I feel, this was really powerful for me. So I feel I should give back. I give her a color therapy session, and she goes, you need to learn human design. I'm like, what?
It's like,
And I'm like, why? And she's like, because those things, like your reading was about this and this and this, and if I match my human design, what you just told me about colors and how I can see this and that.
wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I started studying. I was a little bit skeptical because, like, I don't know, it feels like there is a lot to learn. But the moment I started learning about human design, everything started to get back into place. And I'm like, and I started offering color therapy, human design, and a strategy session, which is still on my offers. because I realize it's so powerful. It gives you it's such a boost of understanding yourself with a strategy on how to use your energy that it
Mm.
just kind of blew my mind. And so when you start learning about human design, then people also start talking about gene keys, and I'm like, what's that? So I started learning about gene keys, but I am not offering gene keys sessions as I do with human design. If you work with me for 12 months, then we'll dive a little bit into gene keys. It's just because I feel it's not right the time just yet to go deeper into that. But I find those practices so fascinating because they help you so much to learn about your limitations, learn about how to use your energy in the best way. They help you to comfort yourself a little bit because we all have some sort of a path.
Mm.
And sometimes people are like, oh, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like this is not happening. I'm like, yes, there is a reason for this. First, we need to clear out all that it's in the way that you no longer need, and a lot of the things are impossible for you to see because they
Wow.
are subconscious, because they are traumatic events from your childhood. And when I do color therapy, I often get in touch with past lives and ancestral energy, which doesn't happen all the times, but depending on the thing. And so for me, it's like, okay, maybe for you it's only inner child healing, but maybe for you you've done inner child healing, so now we can move to whatever it's in your energy. It's telling me what is it that you need to work on. And so I find those practices that help me help my client to really have a full picture of what it's happening right now in their energy. And it's your soul is already asking you, this is what you need to work on.
Yeah.
And you just need someone to be able to read. Oftentimes I get clients like, yeah, I've been told this before. I'm like, okay, so why
It,
have you not, and like, yeah, but and I'm like, okay, let's go, come on, let's
hello.
go deep now. Because for me it's all about getting to the root cause of the problem. If we go there, everything shifts. And I can tell you, and I'm telling you this not because I heard it before, it's because it's what happened to me.
Mm.
I've been doing so much work on myself over the years, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I tell you because this is what has unlocked for me once I decided to work on my biggest fear, once I was able to see what was my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Because I could, before I could go there, I had to go in all of the little steps and be like, oh, I have this little fear. Oh, why do I have this block? Why this is happening? And then once you uncover all of that, your life shapes so much, and you're like, oh, now I see. But also I can see that what happened to me was meant to be happening so that I could see this, and now I can move in this way. And it's nobody's fault. Everybody does what they can, what they know.
Mm.
And so it's just an information for you to know, okay, all right, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go. I can move forward. I have overcame this fear. Now I am unstoppable, those kind of things. To me, this is what the work that I'm doing is all about. And whenever I feel there are modalities that help me to unlock that, I want to go deeper. But also, I'm a 5-1 in human design. I'm a generator, and so for me, it's learning so much, because I
Yeah.
so want to understand, so then I can fix, I can resolve the problem. This is very much my energy. So that's why, at some point the universe goes, oh, maybe a little bit of this, or maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah. Wow, there's so much in what you shared. First of all, the I don't agree with titles, labels, but the name that you have given yourself, Intuitive Queen, I believe defines everything that you've just said, because it shows that even in the way that you just explained something, just because you offer something, the big takeaway that I got is that you're not saying, no, I'm not going to just give all this to you. You're intuitively going with that client first, working out, okay, a little bit this, a little bit that. And I think that's so powerful to identify that, because I think often, we say, okay, I'm an expert, or I specialize in this area or this area, and then it's almost like we put this pressure on ourselves that it's like, okay, so do boom. Whereas you've just like completely, like for me, just redefined it in the sense of, no, this is a journey. This is going to be a transformational journey that we are going to go on together. And as you rightly said, okay, I'm going in with the color therapy, but actually, this makes sense with that now. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think there's a really like playful and exciting unfolding element to it, which is why I also loved that you started with, and I think this is a really, really important message for many people listening right now. Sometimes we do things and we don't actually understand why. Like what you said, you just always have this passion for color. And even though you were noticing something within you and being like, okay, well, I just said that to my friend and she's just confirmed that that's right, and I never knew that before. I think this is really, really amazing what you've identified, because it's often like we feel like frauds or whatever at the start, because we are still unfolding and discovering ourselves. And although we're getting the feedback and the clarity and we're seeing changes in other people's lives, it's almost like the internal has to catch up with the external. Because even with like when I first started my business, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, I was so focused on the money, but I knew that if the money came straight away, I wouldn't have actually felt worthy enough to receive it, and I would have pushed it away. Because subconsciously, there was a part of me that's like, but what have I done to earn it? Because I've been in such a setup all my life of, you do this and you receive this at the end of the month. And so because I felt like I had to do and feel tired and depleted sometimes, and like constantly on go, that the moment I tapped into my passion and something that just really ignited me, it felt like, oh, but how can I take money from this person, because I actually really enjoyed what I just did. And I think this is super important that you express that. You started with your friends and then you saw the results, and I think we need to be kind to ourselves at the beginning and maybe release a little bit from the attachment of money, because if we're energetically, when we take the money, then feeling guilt and shame, or like, should I have took that, we're just pushing it away, and we're opening that just something that we need to do a little bit more inner work on. Whereas like maybe sometimes having that process and that practice in a safe, supportive environment with your friends that love you, and there's other ways. Like, I know, okay, we have bills, we have things like that, but just breathe, detach. Okay, what can I do right now in this moment to build my confidence up, for me to understand that I am worthy of what I'm going to receive? I do have value, and even if I love what I do and it's a passion, I deserve to receive and be rewarded for my energy and my time. And I respect you so much for that. Thank you for really sharing your story in that beautiful way. Of course,
but look, for me, becoming a coach was a big deal, a very big deal, because I grew up in a crazy environment. My mom is a narcissist, although we have healed the relationship at this point. But I grew up with the mindset my parents had, is that I didn't go to university, because when I finished school and I had in mind to do something, my parents told me, well, if you want to go to university, you're gonna have to pay for it. And in my mind, I'm like, how am I gonna study when if she wakes up with a bad mood, she's gonna start bothering me. I didn't feel safe to be, okay, I can do this. Aside from the money part of knowing that I maybe would have had to apply to, or have a side job or something, to me it was the safety of it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to work.
Yeah.
And so when I moved to London, and I got into self-development because a friend of mine was like, you need to read The Secret. I'm like, okay. And that kind of brought me to really finding my space. I was like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
people started to be like, oh, you should be a coach. You should be a coach. And I was like, okay. When I became a coach, I had been saying for many, many years I want to be a coach, but I never really took action because
Mm.
there was a part of me that was like, you can't be one. I mean, you don't have all of the things
Mm.
because of,
Narratives and
you know,
storylines, and often words that don't belong to us. Yeah.
no, exactly. And I had a lot of different kind of friends because that's the person that I am. So I had friends that were on my level of mindset and level of lifestyle. And I also had friends that had MBAs, university degrees, all kind PhDs,
Mm.
making a lot of money, working for the companies that propel you forward. And so I was in this world where I was like, this is my reality, this is theirs. How, like, to me, it's like,
Mm.
I can never go get to that point because I'd never been to university. So university propels you forward. So I had this thing in mind. So I had this, and then every time I was making more money with my job, I was wasting the money in things because of the status situation, which
Mm.
is how I grew up and what I was seeing. And then my dad passed away in 2015, and that kind of slapped me really, really hard in the face. And I realized life is now. I've been saying
Yeah.
for years that I want to be a coach. And the reason why I wanted to be a coach is because I realized over time that whenever people will come to me for advice,
Mm.
reading all of those books about Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, and all of those guys, I would start to apply the exercises and the things that they were saying in the books and the videos. And slowly, slowly, I realized that actually I was able to shift things. Things were
Yeah.
happening for me. So that was again me trying for myself. And then when I had a friend, I was like suggesting those things. And to me, that was such a natural thing of
Mm.
doing.
Mm.
That's why people were like, Mara, you should be a coach because you're really good at this. One of the things that I realized is that I had so much joy in seeing the person in front of me completely shift face
Yeah.
expression and then say, oh my god, I so needed to talk to you. That became a thing. I became the person people will go to whenever they needed someone to give them a pep talk or
Yeah.
changed. And that's why people were like, you don't realize how people see you, because for you this is
Mm.
so natural, it's so pleasurable for you that you do it because you want to see your friends and people around you happy, because you're such a positive person, you've always been, but you can become one. But in my head, what
Mm.
my the people that I had in mind were all those millionaires. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can never be there. And at some point, a friend of mine was like, Mara, you don't need to become a millionaire. You just need to make enough money for you to live a comfortable life.
Yes.
Ding! And I'm like,
Yes.
oh my God,
Angel.
right? I was like, I never saw it that way. I never thought about it. I like my mind went into block mode straight away because that's what I always seen. Like I could never go there because I don't have this. And so it took me a while. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. And I found the perfect course for me. When I completed the course and I was a coach and I was figuring out how to do I do I become Mara coach? Do I become Mara Marchesi coaching? And then I was like, but then English people are gonna butcher my name and I hate that so much. So no, I cannot put my surname on that because it's going to be complicated for them to say it. And then I'm talking to this friend of mine. She is a hypnotherapist and a channeler. We have had sessions together before. So I am like, Monica, what do you think I should be doing? Because she goes, oh, wait. They like literally, this is the way she did it. They are saying from upstairs, that the intuition queen is your name. This is your name.
Beautiful.
And I'm like, what? She's like,
Beautiful.
yeah, this is your name, because you don't realize how strong your intuition is. And to me, at that point, I always listen to my intuition, particularly in making big life decisions. But she was like, you don't realize how powerful and big your intuition is. So this has to be
Amazing.
your name. But to me, it felt such a big responsibility. Queen, first of all, I was like, Queen, me? Like, that's a lot. And then intuition, I'm like, yeah, but my intuition is like your intuition. So like, no, it's not. You see things normal people don't see. You go deeper. And I was like, what are you talking about? To me, it was so now normal to be able to feel people's energies, to understand that, not that person. I shouldn't be around that person. Or I could see situations developing before they
Yeah.
happened. But that was so normal for me. But then I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then eventually embraced it because it made so much sense. And I started talking to a few friends and like, yeah, of course you are the intuition queen. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? And they were like, because you're freaking, your intuition is off the charts. Every time I talk to you, you start. I'm like, oh, okay. I couldn't see that because to me that was so normal. And that's how I continue. Like, for
Amazing.
me, it was so natural. If it makes me feel good, that's where I need to go. It's always been a way for me to make my choices. You
Yeah.
know, a job that pays you a lot of money, or a job where you enter the room and you already felt good. And the job paying you a lot of money, you went for the interview and something inside of you started feeling like, oh God.
Mm.
This has always been my metric. And my friends are like, I remember when I chose the job that paid me less compared to the one that paid me more, my friends are like, you're crazy. Why? I was like, I don't know. There's something. When I got into that room and I started talking to the guy that was supposed to be my boss, I just started feeling the creeps. And when I got into the room, it just like the office was so much more expansive.
Mm.
The woman I had the interview with, I don't know, just felt better. And I know it's a lot more money but I don't want to go into a place where I'm gonna hate it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the right thing for me to do. But my friends are like, but that's crazy. Like, you can always change afterwards. I'm like, why?
Amazing. Well,
You
that
know?
just confirms, doesn't it? It confirms exactly what they've said. And first of all, what an incredible community of friends you have around you. And it also shows the power of your intuition, that even when they say the positives, you also have the discernment for the not so something that you want to take, you know? Um, so first of all, like, wow about community, and that's beautiful that you each time, even though your intuition was really strong, you had them come in, just it appeared at the right time to just give you that little push you needed. um and it also shows the about the mindset of ultimately not always us initially, but things from our past, and things we've heard a lot, and things that have really planted a deep seed. Often, again, it's like we think, oh, that, and then I compromise that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and this is the whole, like, I feel the whole illusion, the whole game,
Mm-mm.
because it's so funny. And I love that you mentioned this, and I really feel like someone listening right now, I don't know why, would be in the same situation of like, because it comes as a beautiful package with a bow, often money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really do what you did and you really feel into it, the gold is often not so sparkly, and
Yeah.
it doesn't always shine the brightest, and it isn't always shouting the loudest. And even that like, and it's no disrespect to anything that your friends said, because they were saying at the capacity everyone is functioning at, but
Yeah.
yeah, but go for it, and then, if it's not right, change it. But you already knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much beauty in that. And sometimes I feel like, particularly when we are changing aspects of our life, relationships, job, whatever, it will come back in as a like, oh, just for now. But what we don't realize is we are entertaining back that behavior. Like, oh, maybe I'll just go for that coffee with that person, or maybe I'll. And in those times, those really crucial points where we need to be so like discerning and so sharp with our mindset, we don't realize how that harmless coffee and then those words or that we're absorbing, and we don't realize in that environment, that mindset, that energy, or whatever we want to call it, that's in that environment, we are surrounded by that. So here's your lovely money, your package, but at the cost of what? So I love all that you mentioned. It's really, really important. And something else, just because I want you to share more about you, and I'm really enjoying this conversation. Thank you so much. And I agree about your name as well. I'm so thankful. Like, this is the thing. This shows when people heal. Like British girls sitting here, like, oh, should I have been no? Because of course, like I purposely didn't say your surname because I do not want to butcher it. And your intuition. You're completely right. I want to honor you, Queen, and your name, and even Mara a little bit. I was like, am I saying it too British? But it's all good,
No, that's fine.
No, absolutely. And honor it. And if someone gets triggered, someone gets upset by something that someone says, we can't keep taking responsibility for other people's emotions and behaviors. And we should see it as, of course, we're not going to just be like really uncompassionate and insensitive, but there's something within them that needs to be transformed. And so, like, even though it doesn't always come like it's still a beautiful blessing eventually, if they identify it and can be like, okay, why am I feeling like this right now? Okay, what is happening right now? I think it's really beautiful what you've mentioned. And sorry, just one other thing, just when you spoke about the human design, I really love that you mentioned this, because the first time it ever entered my life, I'm sat in this like room of 12 people, and I've got the label on, okay, of what I am. And I'm just focusing on the word, okay? So I see like, oh, there's loads of people like me, manifesting generator, okay? I'm looking around, and I'm listening, and the guy is like saying all this stuff, and I was honestly like, does he know everything about me? This is incredible. And then I remember being like, yeah. And then I said, and then I went to get up, and he said, no, not you. And I said, what? He said, no, none of that was for you. And I said, what? He said, you're just a manifester. And I went, huh? And then he literally started reeling all this stuff to me, and I went, and inside I was contracting, I was feeling uncomfortable, and he said, so how's things happening in your life right now? And I was like, yeah, interesting point. And I said, now I understand why things are playing out the way they're playing out. And he said, because you are functioning at a way that most, and it's not, again, like people are this or that, but you're basically, you've learnt behaviors from how most are functioning, but you actually have to. And when he was saying what I had to do, I was like, I felt physically sick, and I was like, I've never. And he said, and that's why you go in these jobs, and then there's just something every time where you're just like, oh, I don't know what it is, but I feel like claustrophobic. I feel like I need to break free. And he said, and this is why. And it was just such a short thing he shared with me, but it was so powerful. And whether it's, we just want to be curious and learn about color therapy, human design, whatever, often listening even now to your conversation and what you share, there's a reason why your people are listening right now. Yeah, because you never know what it's going to unlock. And thank you. I really appreciate all that you've shared.
Thank you for all the explanation. Look, for me, when I said I wish someone told me about human design before, it would have made my life so much easier, because I am a 5-1 generator, which means that particularly the 5-1 personality, and as a generator, you're meant to do things that light you up, which is something that will work for everybody.
Yeah.
But particularly if you're a generator, if you want to have sustainable energy, that's your way to go. That's what you need to
Mm.
do. That's why I love this job so much. It's because it lights me up. It makes me happy,
Yeah.
and so you can do more. You can
Mm.
amplify your energy when you're doing that. When I'm forced to do certain things, it just, I do it, but when you are in a corporate
Mm.
job, that's how it works. But particularly for me, the 5-1 part of the personality traits, it's a lot about people project and their ideas onto you, and you come across as this person that knows a lot of things, so they come to you
Mm.
as this kind of energy, but also they put expectations onto you. So when I learned this about me, one of the things that always happened to me job wise, not just job wise, but the thing that I hated the most was this thing where I would get hired. There was this big buzz about me for
Mm.
some reason that I couldn't understand, but okay. And then I would do the things, and obviously, then the moment you start to put constrain strain me and stuff like that, then I start to kind of back off because I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I hate this so much, and I will start to find a way to get out of it,
Mm.
which I would. Um, but then there was this thing for which excitement, and then annoyance from the people, because this is what happens if you're a 5-1. And if there are 5-1s, it doesn't matter if you're a generator or any other type of profile, but if you're a 5-1, if you have a 5, this is your energy. People
Mm.
will love you at the beginning and be very excited, but the moment you start to shine, it's not gonna go down that well, because you
Mm.
will shine, because this is your energy, because you have this kind of flirty magnetic energy when you're feeling well about yourself and when you're doing your things. And the
Yeah.
more you do that, the more you become
Magnetic.
known, seen, visible. And if you're in a corporate environment where maybe you start to be the person that knows everybody from every floor, from every department, you are that kind of person that, like I shared to you at the beginning, people will come to me, and in that situation, I started to get gift from guys and get gift from people. And there is this, you
Yeah.
know, situation where the more people like you, the more people see you, the more some people appreciate you, the more some other people are not going to be happy. And
Mm.
for me, in the corporate world, it was always other people that were my bosses would appreciate me. The bosses weren't that happy that so many people appreciate me, or so many clients were saying so good things, because they had decided that I could not go any further in my position for whatever reason. And so I always find myself at a glass ceiling at some point, not because I wasn't doing my job, which was very frustrating, because it's like I am doing the job,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Probably
it
doing
just
above the job, but yeah.
right? And it's just that energy. And if I had known that before, I would have understood that and probably behaved differently, which is fine, because it took me out of the corporate, because the corporate, it's not for me. And it pushed me to start my business and do what I love, which is
Yeah.
always the case in any situation, that you get fired or you get made redundant or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's always the case. Um, but that really helps you to understand so much more about yourself and how
Yeah.
you can manage other people. Because now I know at some point this is going to happen. Not with everybody, because people that are healed and self aware will not do that to you, but other people will. So now I don't take
Yeah.
it personally. It's nothing that I do, it just energetically, the moment that I start to evolve and expand, which is something that I will always want to do for
Of
myself,
course.
some people will not be happy about it, which is a general conversation, because this is normal. And I know that, I'm sure that you have had people in your life, and your listeners have had people in their life that the more you expanded, you're happier and things are going well for you, then your friend is like, oh, but, or your family is like,
Of
yeah,
course.
but,
Yeah.
we all grew up in this environment and this is the thing. But once you learn so much about you, you're like, oh, well, I see what's happening. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Time for me
Yeah.
to move on. How do I do that? It becomes like, oh, this is an information. Now, this person is doing this to me. And I can see it's coinciding with this happening to me. Okay, right, I get it. I understand. We have come to a place where our relationship needs to shift now. And it
Yeah.
becomes something that it's natural to you and it's no longer a personal thing. So you don't start to feel bad
Yes.
about yourself. You don't
Mm.
start to be like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? You don't
Yeah.
start to chase this person of this situation. You don't hang out you don't hang out with those people or in this job for too long because you're like, oh, okay, it's my plateau. Fine. I need to start moving around. Okay, how do I do this?
Absolutely.
Who do I need to talk to? And it just makes your life so much easier if you understand that. So that's why for me, learning so much about your energy, your emotions, yourself, aside from healing, this is a part that will happen when you do that. But it really is you help yourself to understand how to move forward in life and stop getting stuck in things that really are no longer relevant.
Absolutely.
People will always
Yeah.
change your life because you change. Life changes. Even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to, life changes. Will make you change. Things will happen to you in your life that you don't want them to happen, but they will, and that will make you change. So to me, it's like, okay, well, then start making those changes for yourself and make your life better.
Absolutely. And I think like what I hear from all that you've shared is it's not now like a cheat code and finding all the answers. It's awareness because I think like whether some people say it's the 3D or whatever, yeah, whatever the label is, it doesn't actually, it's irrelevant. It's just life. But many people, again, and I, was one of them at one point. We are constantly like functioning on the people pleasing, the approval of others. Oh, why did that happen? We keep thinking it's personal to us, but like what you've just said, it's not. When you can have kind of a blueprint, if you want, or just an idea more about you and awareness, you can just zoom out a little bit more and see it actually as something much greater than you and just something that, and then you can be like, oh, I see actually that pattern again, that pattern again. And I think that's super important because something that I wasn't aware of, but now I realize, and I don't know it. Obviously, you are an expert, so I will just say whatever this person shared with me, and if it's inaccurate, I apologize. But it was the fact that he said, like, I'll get kind of an idea, a seed for something, and I will go like full pow, and I am like, even morning, night, I'm painting. I'm like in this like immersion of creation. And then I almost like, it's like I get dunked on the head. And then I used to have this guilt, this shame of like, I'm lazy, I'm this, why can't I keep going? But this is a part that he revealed to me. Obviously, I actually, speaking to you now, need to dive into it more and not just the free version. But it's a part of the human design of me because also I'm a emotion as well, and there's always my tummy just reacts to things all the time, and even that I know my yes and my no and things like that. But again, like before, I confused anxiety with excitement, this with that, and actually now that I'm like, no, but Shelley, you've just disregarded all of that creation. All you literally probably someone else creates in like 2 months, you've done it in 1 week, or and then now you're calling yourself lazy because you have to go, I need to sit down for a week, or I need to have a day to myself. No, this is lazy. Keep going. And I think it's so important once we tap into or realize more, a little bit more. And again, it's not like, oh, this is me now, but just having more of awareness about ourselves.
Yeah.
So if that's literally what someone could take from this, you need to contact this lady because she is incredible. And I definitely feel like she has come at a time where, I need to stop doing the freebie and actually just dive in a little bit deeper and really understand me, especially now with my own business. I think it's even
Yeah.
more important. Like, thank goodness in a way, I can be kind to myself and give myself that downtime. Whereas, when you're in corporate and you're in a business, they don't care. You need to and the more you do sometimes, the more they expect. So it's like
Yeah.
we generate something for ourselves, and then people are like, well, she should just keep continuing, and that's when the burnout comes. Whereas I realize my type, it will do that, boom, and people are like, wow, she can do a lot, and then the moment you pull back, oh, she's lazy, she's this, she's that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't function the same with, and we are women as well that have different times of the month where we need to actually cry and lie on the sofa and pour into ourselves. So,
Yeah.
so much that you've mentioned, really powerful. And I'm so happy we connected. And just because I don't want to use up too much more of your time, obviously, if there's anything else you want to share, feel free. But one thing that I always ask my guests before they go is if there was something just, I can't say into the intuitive queen now, intuitively, that you feel like someone right now listening would really need to hear, what would you tell them?
Well, to me, it's always, don't be afraid to look at the mirror. Don't be afraid to dive deeper into those fears that you're having. Sometimes we have these deep fears that really we feel on a physical level. And whatever it is that is happening is always, to me, a great information. Like if you feel like, oh, there is a pattern, but I don't know how to unblock this. Okay, well, start asking yourself questions. There is this fear. It's not something that you need to push away. It's something that you need to look at in the face and be like, okay, why are you here and what is happening? Because oftentimes we carry so much fears from our ancestor line that is not even ours. And maybe it is a little bit yours because of the situation you're in, but then it's too much. And so whatever is going on with you, whatever emotion, whatever thoughts are you having, whatever pattern that you see happening, it's there to tell you, hey, this is what you need to look at. This is where you're getting stuck right now. So it's really not something that you need to push away. It's something to be like, okay. And it doesn't have to be something full on. You can just say, okay, why are you here? What do I need to know? And, if you ask yourself, if you don't know how to do this, and I'm sure you have a lot of people that are coaches and healers and they already know how to do this. But if you have never, just came across all those modalities, you don't know what to do, you're overwhelmed, before you go to bed, tune into whatever feeling, pattern, thoughts, and then ask yourself, okay, universe, if you believe in God, whatever it is that you believe in, whatever your faith is, why are you here? Can you tell me why this thing is here? What do I need to know? And then go to bed. I promise you the day after, in the next days, the answer will come to you. And then you can unpack it from there. And one of the things that I do a lot, it's journaling, because it helps. It helps me to put whatever is going on in my mind and in my body, my emotions down, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm overreacting. Oh, I see what's happening here. So there are a lot of things, but don't be afraid to look at yourself and look at what's going on, because they are the best information you can possibly have about yourself, and it keeps the power within you, because you have the power to unlock everything.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Thank you so, so much. It's been such a blessing. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. And yeah, keep shining. And I know many people are going to reach out to you. You've got so many incredible gifts and things that you know, and even like, obviously because of time, but I would definitely be wanting to know more about this color therapy, because even with myself, I put certain colors on and I feel certain ways, like powerful or royal, or like whatever it is, and I even how I decorate my environment. So I definitely want to know more about this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm super excited for you and for all you're creating and all that continues to keep unfolding in your life. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Shel Marie. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.